Hi, this is Ian Wright, Saturday live meditation. Today we're going to start a two-part, which is to do with, I think I said something like accessing limitless resource energy. It's a bit wordy. What I mean is really accessing energy where we feel like our resources are low. So it's actually a way of energizing ourselves in a positive way. This is a kind of direct, experiential, feeling sense practice, and it's more of a practice, really, I suppose, than a meditation. But it brings in a couple of things, and this is part one, and which is more going to be about accessing a quantum field. Part two will be accessing the tide. So, anyway, until people settle in, I'm just going to talk about the course that we've just put out, Stillness Practices, which is kind of based on the Dynamics of Stillness book, but it's expanded. It's really more on the course that I taught, which was behind it, and it kind of embodies 36 practices which develop on each other, which bring in reconnecting with our health, reconnecting with the tide and nature's tides, finding a neutral in ourselves, connecting deeply with stillness, but they build on each other, so it's much more than a kind of normal meditation process. Anyways, so I suppose what we're really looking at here is, in order to access energy depleted, when we feel depleted, it feels like we've put all our energy out into the world. We have nothing almost left for ourselves. And in doing so, what tends to happen is when we're stressed or when we're under pressure, we tend to, in some way, make ourselves an island, we disconnect, we drive everything from our thinking. We literally make ourselves an island, and in doing so, it actually does the reverse to what we need, because actually what we're going to experience in this process, this technique, is actually that all the energy is outside us, and more of the energy is outside us. And when we cut ourselves off and make ourselves an island, we are out of that flow, that natural energetic field that we live in. We literally, our kind of ego sense, our survival part of our brain goes naturally, just cuts ourselves off. And that, of course, is accentuated right now by the social elements of dealing with this COVID. It cuts us off from community, from society, from connection, makes us distressed, shuts us down in our little worlds. And that can really make us feel much more separated from everything and everyone. It's interesting because this idea of separation, this dualistic view of thinking of the world, came from, Judeo-Christian religions, really, with a separate God being outside of us. And that, again, creates a separation. Some of the more indigenous religions had, and some of the Taoist practices and Buddhist stuff would really look at us being connected as one with a divine process. So, and being part of that wholeness of divine, which decreases that sense of separation. So, anyway, let's have a look at this. So, in a quantum way of looking at the world, which is to do with the ideas of waves and particles. Waves are, you could say, they're potential energy. We're surrounded and we live in like a soup of potential energy. When that potential energy creates form, particles, it kind of downloads and it creates form. Us is form. We're made up of particle, for example. And there is less energy, interestingly, because of that, in us than outside us. And so the trick in this is for us to open our awareness to this huge energy field that we live in, simply. But not thinking about it. What we have to have a direct experience, a feeling sense of this. So we'll take you through this from an access point of stillness. So let's start. So one way of accessing stillness is to start to feel and to sense the stillness that is there between each word. So every word, I'm saying the gap between them is filled with a sense of stillness. So close your eyes and just listen to my voice and just allow yourself to come into your body a little bit. And as you settle into yourself and engage maybe with your breathing, and as you breathe out, you release the day a little bit, or the week, or all the stuff that's going on. And any thoughts and any feelings that come, allow them to come. Whatever it is, I feel a bit stiff, or I feel a little bit worried, or I feel a little bit whatever. Just to let it come, let it go. Because as soon as we come into ourselves, normally all those thoughts and feelings come up straight away. But watch them come, and then watch them just pass away back into this well of stillness. So, as we breathe out, there's stillness. And from the stillness comes our breath. Just spend a couple of minutes allowing yourself to familiarize yourself with this stillness that's behind everything. It's where our breath comes from and where it goes back to, and where our thoughts come from and dissolve into. It's what's in the background. And this well of stillness is not confined by us. It's bigger than us. So it takes us directly into relationship with something that's bigger than us. Just familiarize yourself with this great stillness. Now, this dynamic stillness, this quantum field that we live in, is full of potential energy. So there's more energy outside of us. And we live in a field of energy. But the trick is to realize that we are part of that field. We're not separate from it. And as soon as our perception sees that and loses that sense of our ego-formed island, we can start to feel the energy. It's powerful. So the quality is stillness and potential energy, which is always accessible for us, always. And there's the alarm. So behind the sound, the noise comes and it goes. And within that and behind that, we're in this limitless energy field where we are one with the cosmos. We are the field. So this huge field of potential energy, which is accessible to you, can allow you to re-energize if you're tired. This is your resource. It means you don't have to go into your reserve tanks. So the trick really is where we place our attention. It's all about where we place our attention. So when we're an island and we're locked in our thinking, we become energetically an island. And as soon as we realize we're part of a whole and that whole is full of energy, then it becomes a lot easier. So well-being, once you find it, needs cultivation. It needs nurture. It's like growing something from a seed, and you need to spend time every day cultivating and nurturing your well-being. I wish you well. Next week we'll come back and we'll experience the tide. Have a good week.